Well, right about now, you're tuned in to Speak on It with the one and only Mike Sean. Zine.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of Speak on It. I am your host, the mouthpiece of the Southeast, the one and only Mike Sean. Now, today, I got one of my homeboys from the D. He is in the building. He's one of the biggest Floyd Mayweather fans up in Detroit. Hell, it might be the whole world. But Jimmy, what's going on, Jimmy?
How's it going?
Man, we good, man. How you been doing up there?
Oh, we're doing good. Just living the dream through the pandemic, forgetting what day it is, and stuck at home.
No snow as well, so.
Not yet. We got a dusting a few weeks ago, but it went away, and we actually, I think, have a 70-degree day today. So
that's crazy.
We're holding off.
That's crazy, man. So if you guys don't know, man, Jimmy's a good friend. I've known him for over 20 years now. Not 20 years. 10 years. But, man, when I was up in Detroit, man, we used to go to like all the nice restaurants, man, as far as like the takeout joints. What was that one place we went to? I think it was called Blaze Pizza.
Blaze Pizza, yeah.
Blaze Pizza, man. Is that still open?
I think we hit Wendy's one time. That's some gourmet eats.
Yeah. we were always on the go, man. So so Jimmy, man, you've been a friend for a while, man. I see you on Facebook doing your numbers. People harassing you, you're harassing them back, man. Hey, so how satisfied are you with Biden being elected president?
So my feelings on Biden being elected president are, I have mixed feelings. So on one hand, I'm ecstatic he beat Donald Trump. I feel like Donald Trump is an extreme danger to our society. So I said, and I don't think I was all that. I wasn't really lying when I said this. If the Democrats came out and said, guys, we dropped the ball here. We got this really nice aluminum trash can, and this is all we got, I would have voted for that trash can happily, and I would have been happy that it won. Now, on the other hand, I am cautiously optimistic about Biden in general. He wasn't my first choice. I don't hate Biden. I think he's a decent person, but I worry that if he does go to what I somewhat expect of him at being a moderate politician, we're going to go back to the status quo, which I feel is one of the big reasons we got Donald Trump in the first place. People are mad at politics as usual. They don't want that status quo. So I do hope he really steps up and does what we need him to do.
Gotcha. So who are you leaning towards initially?
I didn't love any of the candidates. If I had to pick one, it probably would have been Bernie, but Bernie comes with his own set of problems with some of his more extreme views. I mean, some of them I do agree with, but I just feel like that socialist label would be tied to him harder than they tried to hit it on Biden, and I just feel like it really would have stuck to him. But I do probably like his policies more, and I think he is one of those guys that would go in there and fight for what we need, and not just whatever they think is best for them personally.
Gotcha. Because people don't realize that all Bernie was really doing was trying to basically expand the welfare state, not so much as socialism as in the definition.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, we could get into a whole nother podcast about what a lot of Americans think socialism is and what socialism really is, right? Yeah. Nothing any of these Democratic politicians are talking about comes anywhere close to being an actual socialist state. But it's that perception that many have.
Mm-hmm. So I know you've been very vocal, very vocal about President Trump over the years.
Yeah.
What's your overall take of him as a person?
So I'll get into some specifics here, but I think the one metaphor, or I guess comparison that always stands out to me is I believe Donald Trump is the adult version of Eric Cartman. I don't know if you watch South Park, but I just imagine if Trey and Matt ever decided to do an all grown up series, they could just really turn Eric Cartman into Donald Trump, and you'd have a pretty good character. But I mean, getting into it, some of his actions. The dude ran a scam charity, a charity where the evidence that he was digging into it for his own good was so great that he willingly shut it down. He didn't even fight. You got Trump University, a scam college, people trying to better themselves, and he's over there just to make a buck. You have 20 sexual assault accusations against the guy. I don't know how you could look at him with the Access Hollywood tape where he brags about doing the things that he's accused of doing and not believe these stories.
Now, what about
friends with Jeff?
Oh, what about people?
Go ahead.
What I've been noticing is, and I didn't mean to cut you off. People been accusing Biden of being a pedophile. I see that all the time, and I'm like, I haven't seen any kind of evidence that would suggest that. Not only that, like you said, Donald Trump has pending cases, and people tend to overlook that just to call Biden a pedophile.
You know, I think it's just it's textbook's definition of gaslighting, which is what Trump, a big part of his persona is. Whatever I do, I'm going to accuse you of doing. I'm going to be louder than you, and enough people are going to buy into it that it's going to kind of drown out what's true and what's false here.
Definitely, but go ahead and proceed.
And the last thing I was going to say about specific actions is, guy was friends with Jeff Epstein for 10 years. I refuse to believe there's nothing nefarious going on there. I refuse to believe he was in the dark about what was going on with this dude. I just can't buy into that. And then, I mean, I wrote a few adjectives down here. Impulsive. He's a pathological liar. He's cruel, and it seems like he gets enjoyment out of it. He's not just being mean because someone was mean to him. He seems to truly get enjoyment out of ruining people's careers and trying to ruin their life. He's a proud racist. If you need any more proof on that, just go look what the racists think about Donald Trump. Go look what the leader of the Nazi Party in America said about Donald Trump's presidency. And that's not the only one. There's a whole list of them that love this guy. Self-centered. Puerto Rico gets hit with a hurricane. Donald Trump seems more interested in picking fights with their leaders and going on Twitter while the hurricane is still very much active and killing people, and giving himself letter grades. I got an A+ on this very active situation. And just, I mean, narcissistic. He's the smartest. He knows more than the generals, never served. He knows more than the doctors, never went to medical school. I'm going to cut myself off there because I could take up the rest of the time just going through all of this.
Oh, man, we need that ether beat, man, the ether beat.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you get the idea. I can't think of a single redeeming quality about the guy. I tried last night. I really did. And I cannot think of one thing where I would say, if I ever had a kid, I want to instill this, this part of what Donald Trump was into my kid. I not one. Yeah,
man. And it's so sad. What I believe is people love Donald Trump because he hates the same people that they hate.
Yeah, I mean, his whole campaign, his whole presidency was built on hate and, the enemy.
Yes.
He's got a lot of enemies.
So with your harsh criticism of the president, have you fallen out of favor with some friends and family members?
I have. In the age of social media, you don't have as many maybe sit down conversations where you might have that large scale argument or anything. But I've deleted many people off Facebook, and I don't keep track of it, but I assume I've been deleted by people. When this issue gets brought up, a lot of people talk about it in a way like they're almost, mourning, like it's sad that this is happening. I disagree, and I actually think it's kind of a good thing. I think maybe if there's one thing good that came out of this presidency, it's that it showed me people that I don't want to waste time on anymore. And that's not coming from someone where you're a conservative, so I hate you. I mean, if you believe in trickle down economics, I disagree with you, but we can have a friendly conversation and I'll respect you afterwards.
Definitely.
But if you saw Donald Trump tell the squad 4 American citizens, 3 of whom were born in this country, raised in this country, to go back to their country, and you cheered that on, you know, that's a moral difference. This isn't a political difference anymore. I think you're a bad person. I don't think you're a very decent person. You know, if you see him throwing his tantrums, acting like an entitled brat, and you can't tell me the 3 branches of government, but you're cheering on Donald Trump because he's hates the same people you do, I don't think your maturity level is one that I want to waste any more time on this relationship.
Definitely. I mean, you get to the point and get to the age to where you kind of can choose who you want to hang with and who you don't want to hang with.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to do. And like I said, I mean, I want to reiterate, I still have conservative friends. I respect them. I try to see where they're coming from on issues if we can keep it to politics. But if you start taking this bait on the hate, and that's where you're going with it, yeah, I mean, I got nothing more for you.
Yeah. And now with the election might be a fraud, and what do you think about all
that? Oh my God. I think it might, I mean, in a long list of dangerous situations we've been in, this might be one of the most dangerous times for our democracy. Because I read somewhere that one of the most important parts of a democracy is the people's faith in it.
Yes.
It's people believing that it works, believing that the person that gets the most votes ends up taking that office. If you have half the country that truly believes that this guy won and that the Democrats engineered a hoax or whatever, you lose that faith.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like if the Democrats were going to steal an election, why wouldn't they try to go for the Senate as well?
Or at a minimum, Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. Why is Mitch McConnell still? I mean, he had a tightly contested race.
Right. I mean, it's remarkable. Yeah, they lose seats in the House, lose governor mansions, don't get the Senate. I mean, they're the worst fixers of an election of all time if they fix this election.
Yeah.
And also one more point on that. You know, it's hard to believe any of this when Donald Trump told us 3 months ago exactly what he was going to do if he lost the election. He told us, if I lose, it's because it was rigged. He set up this whole mail-in ballot fear just so when what was going to happen happened, he'd have his scapegoat, if you will.
And the thing is, people, they can say whatever they want to say about Hillary, but she was far more gracious and far more decent than Trump was, even when she lost.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, she at least gave the concession speech and called for unity and she did what a decent American is supposed to do. If you truly care about this country, you accept your loss, you give credit and wish well on the person that beat you, because they're going to be running the country now or doing whatever job they got elected to do.
And even when she conceded and bowed out, he was still not happy with her winning the popular vote.
No, and he tried to call. I mean, what illegal immigrants made up that 3 million votes. Remember?
So now it's what is it? I think it's 5 million.
Yeah, it's 5 million. You just gotta explain away now.
And what I found so comical was, like, on Wednesday when all these mail-in ballots were starting to get counted. They knew that they were going to be left-leaning ballots because Trump told all of his people, "Hey, don't use the mail-in service." We had a conservative on the show last week, and he said he's going to vote in person because he doesn't trust USPS.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, and honestly, I voted in person not because I don't trust the USPS, but I didn't trust. I thought, maybe they might try to throw out my mail-in ballot. I'm going to show up, in person and make sure mine gets counted. And not to say that they couldn't rig.
Yeah. The machines or something.
The machines, but whatever.
Yeah, because I actually voted in person. Now the rest of my family, they did it through mail-in or showed up at the county courthouses. But I showed up in person at my voting place, and the line was long. The lines were long. They were moving pretty fast, though. They're moving fast.
I actually wait. I mean, I live out in a rural, very rural area, and even my line was about 20 minutes. And I heard a guy behind me say, "I've lived here 30 years. I've never waited in a line." So turnout was high, and that's great for our democracy.
Yeah, turnout was high on both sides, and I think people need to appreciate that, and not think that everything's a fraud or rigged in an election or whatnot.
Right. I mean, if you look back in history, Democrats have won the popular vote, and I think the Republicans have only won it twice since 2000. So is it really that hard to believe that Biden beat him by 3 percentage points in the popular vote?
Now, do you think that the Electoral College is antiquated?
Yeah, absolutely. I get why it was set up the way it was, but the states have grown disproportionately.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, and I still understand the point of the Electoral College. I understand what they're trying to do, but you can't tell me someone in Wyoming's vote should mean more than someone in California just because they choose to live in a big city.
Gotcha.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah.
Or, Biden runs up, there we go. I was getting a call, but runs up a huge 10 million vote lead. I don't know if it was that much in California, but then he loses by 1 vote in Georgia. And, I just don't like the way they appropriate these electoral college votes. It just does not seem democratic to me. And I get the Senate, if you want to give power to the states, that's exactly what the Senate is for. And I kind of believe the Senate is antiquated too, but I think I could at least think a good compromise would be, let's make the presidential election popular vote, and then you keep the Senate, and that's how you keep your state power.
Definitely, man. So I got another question for you. It's a little off topic. Man, look, I know you're a big boxing fan. You're an NBA fan, all that good stuff. But in a hypothetical match, who do you have winning? Do you got Mike Tyson or Ali?
I've thought about this one a lot. I got Muhammad Ali, and it's because I typically, and Mayweather, you said I was a huge fan. I hated on Mayweather for a long time, but one thing Mayweather made me see is that the better boxer usually wins, right? And Tyson was a beast. He was the most feared man in boxing history. And he had boxing skill, but to me, Muhammad Ali had more skill. He was bigger, taller. I think he would have been able to stick on the outside and just use that jab and frustrate Tyson.
Gotcha. One more question too. What about the Tyson versus Roy Jones fight? You got
Roy Jones. So this one, I went and looked up some stats last night because this one seems close. But I would actually end up picking Roy Jones Jr. for the same reason. And actually a few other reasons. So Roy Jones Jr. is 3 years younger. These guys are both old, past their prime. Jones is a little younger. He last fought in 18. And granted, he's not fighting tip-top opponents, but he's at least been active recently, where Tyson hasn't been in that ring for 15 years. All that being said, I wouldn't put money on it, because if Tyson knocks him out, he's a bigger, stronger fighter. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But the way I see it going is Roy Jones just being the slightly better, more crisp boxer and scoring those points. Gotcha. What about you?
So Tyson versus Ali, I got Tyson winning that, and I've said that for years.
I think we talked about that. I thought I remembered you saying it.
And then Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. I got Tyson winning, even though I know he hasn't fought since the exhibition bout with Corey Sanders, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in 2006.
Yeah.
I think the last thing to go is your power. Now, the thing with Tyson is he has to get him out of there pretty early, because, like you said, Roy Jones has been active as of 2018. So it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be entertaining.
But I think for two guys that probably shouldn't be in a ring anymore, I think you'll still be entertaining, and I'll definitely watch.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, man, one more question, man. It's kind of off topic again.
Yeah, that's right.
So when you guys moving to Huntsville, man? I know.
Oh, my God.
Have they been talking about that?
Oh, you mean Taycom? Yeah. I thought you were saying me and my fiance.
No.
It's always something that gets talked about, but I have not heard anything even remotely that they're considering it. It's something they talk about, but
I don't think it's going to happen. Even with now with the pandemic. I mean, we showed as employees that we can work and be productive, in our homes. So And if Taycom was to move to Huntsville, I think that would hurt the economy up there as well.
It really wouldn't. I think if for anything, that would be the reason it would stay, because, you know, the people with the stake in it would be fighting very hard for Taycom to stay up here, and including the employees. I mean, nothing against Alabama, but I'm a northern guy. I can't deal with that heat. I can't deal with the mugginess. I don't want to be anywhere near an alligator.
Oh,
and I don't know if you got them in Alabama, but they're too close for me.
Yeah, we had one in the city. I believe I saw a news report, and it was like on one of the main roads that I used to drive on back in the day. Man, so I want to thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Stay safe. Of course, we'll be texting back and forth, talking trash about boxing, all that. You know, we always do that.
Yeah.
And for everybody out there, stay tuned to the channel, like, share, subscribe, and we out. Yeah.
You want social critique, sports, politics, and battle rap beef? If you like eggs scrambled, then subscribe to the channel. Speak on it. Let's go, Mike Sean.